Manus flat on the canvas. We are ready to rock and roll. Second round of action. There is a cut on Manus.
Jesus.
Martial arts chat.
My man B-Hop, he got dropped out the ring last night. I need a little judo baby. I need me a little judo baby, and let's do it, Ron. Let's get it.
See you were filming this. You got a face for radio.
Martial arts chat.
Hello, welcome to the Martial Arts Chat podcast, live on the round table tonight. We're reacting to UFC 235 Jones versus Smith. Before I introduce tonight's panel, just a quick shout out to our sponsors, A1 Fight Gear. A1 Fight Gear use the latest cutting edge boxing gloves for professional and amateur fighters, gym enthusiasts and kickboxers, so local and national gyms in the UK. Do yourselves a favour, go check out a1fightgear.com. If you want to get into shape, get back into shape, go to beastgear.co.uk, use the coupon code MartialArtsChat, and if you do that you'll save 15% off your purchases for all sorts, man, core sliders, straps, barbell pads, different strength and conditioning programs to suit your needs. Beast your goals with beastgear.co.uk. And finally, we're also sponsored by World of Martial Arts Television. Woma.tv produces, finds, acquires, commissions and presents all you ever wanted to know about martial arts. So, joining us on the panel this evening, helping us get into UFC 235, it's my brother from another mother, Mr. Kevin Jones from the main event. Kev, how you doing, sir?
I'm doing great. I'd be better if I was drinking. So this is the first show. I'm not having a drink in hand, but I'm still looking forward to it. I'm so excited about the show because you know how big of a John Jones fan I am. I'm ready to roll, baby.
There you go, man. I'll have a drink for you. Don't worry, mate. That's it.
Right on.
Pleasure having back on the show. It's One Punch Podcast, just about everything in the MMA world. It's Mr. Brian Lacey. Brian, how you doing, sir?
Good to be back, mate. It's been a while. Too long, mate. So to get on for this one, especially for this card, this is awesome. So looking forward to it. Thanks for having me.
Pleasure, man. And also a pleasure from Purely MMA, Mr. Matthew Penny. Matthew, how you doing, sir?
Yeah, doing good, mate. Thanks for having me on. The event last night had such hype, and I think quite a few people felt a little bit left down, but looking forward to going over it with you guys today.
Well, lots, yeah, man. There is lots to get into. Two particular fights I was wanting to look at before we get into fan questions. First being Ben Askren and Robbie Lawler. Didn't look good for Askren, man, with that slam. Ruthless was about to take him out and then recovered. We saw the clinch against the cage, as you expect. And a bulldog choke. We'll probably get into this in spades. But bottom line, Askren takes the victory. I know they're talking about running it back or whatever, but crazy, man. It was just crazy. That's the way I can describe it. I watched it again this morning, man. Absolute nuts. Let's start with Brian on this one. Brian, give me your thoughts. Askren versus Lawler, mate.
Well, I tell you, my thoughts are I may never sleep again just because of Robbie Lawler's death stare before the fight. That image of him staring at Askren, walking out, and dude, he meant business, and that slam was unreal. How Askren even survived that was crazy. But all I kept thinking was we traded Dad Bod for DJ, and this is what we've got. And there's all the hype, there's all the questions because, like he said, and he's proved in other organisations, he barely gets touched, and his wrestling always shines through. But my God, Robbie Lawler. Yeah, to say there's some respect before the fight. Robbie Lawler beat that man down so badly, and for it to turn around and for an ending like that, it was just craziness, mate. Because there's the whole hype that's come with Ben Askren for him to get his ass kicked and still walk out victorious. Listen, I just hope he bought Herb Dean a very big fat drink at the bar later.
That's it, mate. Yeah, it was, man. It was totally wild. Matthew, how about you? Your thoughts, Askren and Lawler? How did you enjoy it?
Well, it's all about the finish, isn't it? It's all about the finish, and I think a lot of people, no matter what you thought about Ben Askren, I think people wanted a really decisive, a decisive win or even a loss, so people could say, "Oh, well, he's coming to the UFC, tried to prove himself, hasn't worked out." But we didn't get that really. Everybody's talking about the referee stoppage, and It was a bad stoppage. I think everybody has accepted that, so it kind of sucks. I don't really want to see it back again though, because it's one of those fights where Askren, he's not getting any younger, so you kind of want to see him move forward with his career. But to start off with such a dodgy decision, a submission, but it's just so it was not great, and it just sort of summed up the evening on a whole, really, of just really dodgy refereeing decisions throughout. a real weird one. Askren did well to survive. Obviously the massive dump, but it would be good. It would be good to see who he's paired up with next, I think. So and hopefully move forward and get a decisive win or a loss, whatever it is.
Yeah, I don't know if he's going to ever get tested like that, or maybe will. Who knows, man? But to get spiked on your head right away, and then basically it was looking like a TKO finish, wasn't it? It was unbelievable, man. Chaos. Kev, your thoughts? This crazy fight and how it ended.
Yeah, when it opened up, when that slam came, I thought, "Welcome to the UFC, dude."
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And I'll admit, I have a little prejudice against Ben Askren. Several years ago, he was had a little interaction with him on Twitter. Ooh. I don't even know how it came across his path, but he was fighting Luis Sapos Santos, and he ended up poking him in the eye, and Sapos couldn't continue. Never gave him a rematch. He almost got soccer kicked in the head a couple times right before he did that. And I watched the fight several times, and it looked to me like it was intentional. Askren he had a problem with me saying that, and it's like, dude, that's just one man's opinion. So I don't like Ben Askren, man. I don't like his cocky little attitude, and I've never really have. Now, I love Robbie Lawler just as much as everybody else. So I was really looking forward to this fight. Yeah, man, Ben Askren's wrestling is just so smothering. It's he survived the slam and then really did his thing to Lawler. And I mean, Lawler's no slouch in the wrestling department, man. I mean, he came up under Pat Militech, training with Matthews since he was real young. So to see Ben Askren handle him like that, we'll see what he can do to the rest of that division. And I think there's some interesting matchups out there for him. But, I mean, I wouldn't be opposed to seeing this fight again, man, especially with the premature stoppage. And just to defend Herb Dean a little bit, man, I mean, he looked like he was out. The way his arm dropped like that, he couldn't – from his vantage point, he really couldn't see that he was under his chin. It's just one of those things, man. I'm sure it's damn near impossible to talk when you're getting your getting in a headlock like that with your mouthpiece in, and he couldn't tell the referee that hey, he's okay. I think Herb Dean knew that he made a mistake right after he made it. That's going to happen from time to time, man. He was trying to protect the fighter, and he thought that he was out. If he had actually been out and you let the thing go for longer, I mean, you're talking about serious damage being done when you're not getting any oxygen going to your brain. So I don't know, man, but I'm interested to see somebody that can withstand the wrestling attack of Ben Askren. But at the same time, I'd like to see if he can get in there and. I think if we see the fight again, it'll be another quick night of fights, and a finish is always good, especially with all these decisions on the card.
For sure, man, absolutely. One other fight I was wanting to get your thoughts on, guys, before we get into the fan questions, and it's Pedro Munoz and Cody Garbrandt. For me, Cruz called it, man. He said Cody was not liking the leg kicks. I think it was the ones on the calf, and he just wanted to turn it in a brawl after that, and didn't work out, man. It was a gamble, and that was it. Didn't pay off. Wild though, absolutely wild from both guys, man. Absolutely wild. Let's start with Matthew this time. Matthew, give me your thoughts on this bantamweight scrap.
Wild fight. It deserved the award that it got. Was it Fight of the Night? It got.
Yeah.
It was well deserved, but I think I was caught up with the Cody Garbrandt fanfare back. After the Dominic Cruz win, that was when he was at his absolute peak. And you looked at him and thought, my God, this kid could be the next, like a huge star in the UFC. And now we look at him, 3 straight losses, all by TKO and KO. That jaw, man, it's turning into glass even more, as he goes on. And the fight IQ from him just seems very bizarre. And I get it. He was hurt early on, or it looked like he was hurt early on. So he just went into brawl mode and fighting to survive, trying to end it early. I get that. But it just 3 KOs in a row, man. I mean, that's going to be hard to bounce back from him.
Who's the 3? I know it's TJ, obviously, last night. Who am I missing there?
Oh, he lost to TJ twice.
Oh, fuck, of course he did. No, idiot, sorry. You'd have thought I got hit in the head instead of Cody Garbrandt. Jeez,
lost to TJ twice, man.
Yeah,
and,
that's bad.
I did it, I'm predicting this beforehand. You go, well, Munoz probably want to take it to ground to wrestle, and you go knock out Cody. I mean, God, a surprise ending, but you've got to beg the question, where does Garbrandt go from here now after 3 straight losses in the division? Yeah. It's a good question. I don't know where he goes from here.
It's hard, man. It is hard. Kev, what about you? Your thoughts on this crazy war in the bantamweight division?
It's fun. Again, we're talking about a fight with a guy in it that I don't care for personally, with Cody Garbrandt, man. The guy's just a rockhead. He's not from Northern California, but to me, he's just like the stereotypical. I wish Dave was on here too to confirm this for us. But he just to me is a stereotypical douchey guy from Northern California, and I love seeing him get knocked out. You look at his record, and what are his biggest wins, really? He beat Dominic Cruz with Dominic Cruz only had one wheel with his bad knee, and Thomas Almeida, who turned out not to be the killer we all thought he was. I really think that we've seen a little exposure from Cody Garbrandt in his last 3 fights. There's some kryptonite to him, and he's not intelligent enough to revert to a plan B or C. He just decides, hey, I'm gonna stand here and bang it out with you, and that that's something that you can't do at this level, man. It's a gunslinger attitude, and you plant your feet and just start, hooking with the hooker. You're liable to get. He's gonna beat you to the punch half the time at least. You know what I mean? So yeah. I think that's what we saw, man, and I mean, really, everybody's not giving enough credit to Munoz on this deal. I think in social media, what I've seen, it's like more shocking that Cody Garbrandt lost. Man, Pedro Munoz is a great fighter, and I think he's got some big things ahead of him. And Cody Garbrandt is definitely in a downward spiral. And as I say, man, it couldn't happen to a worse guy.
Yeah, Pedro was calling for the belt, wasn't he, in the celebrations? He might very well get it. I don't know if they've got anything lined up. But let's get Brian's thoughts on this. Brian, Munoz, Garbrandt, what did you make it all?
Oh, well, first of all, it was just an awesome fight to watch. I mean, it lifted that main card. I was genuinely on my feet watching them when they started banging. And credit to Munoz, he superb performance, took out Garbrandt. But yeah, they've said it all pretty much. I think Cody Garbrandt, his fighting style doesn't suit his chin. Also, his body doesn't suit his eyebrows, which is a bit weird. He's got the neck tattoo and the weird thing going on, like he's some sort of street punk, and then he's got the eyebrows from Geordie Shore. So they're the most. If he spent as much time training as he did pruning those bad boys, I think maybe he could be back up there for a title shot. But and also the other thing I quite liked is Joe Rogan. I don't know if you spotted this, but he was particularly nice to his co-commentator, because as he was Garbrandt was walking on, he was talking about his wins, and he was talking about Almeida and Takeo Mizugaki. Never mentioned Dominic Cruz sat next to him, which is his standout performance, the one that sort of shot him really to stardom. So I was thinking, Joe Rogan, come on, man, you don't usually pull your punches, and if anything, you can get Cruz's take on that. But yeah, I don't think even Joe Rogan likes to upset Dominic Cruz. So I just thought, man, the fight was awesome. Munoz, he just isn't that marketable, and I think and that's a shame. But his fighting style is awesome, and he's very well skilled. And Garbrandt now, where does he go? That is going to be the question, and how much time he takes up. I think that was he took a lot of damage, so I think he's got to take quite a bit of time off and figure out what's next. But an awesome fight, like absolutely loved it, just banging brawl, and They were literally gunslinging, and that was wonderful to watch.
Let's say Brian Lacey was calling that fight, and you were sat next to Dominic Cruz, and you were reading out Garbrandt's dirt sheet there. Would you bring it up, mate?
Yeah, mate, 100%, dude, 100%. But I'd have John Anik in between us. That'd be my little trick there.
Yeah, that 209 tattoo is going to save your ass. That's exactly what I meant.
Nice.
Fine question time, guys. My favourite part, just a reminder, you don't have to wait your turn. It's an open floor, so we'll start with Twitter this week. At S Nonsense. From the moment Tyron walked into the octagon, he didn't look himself. I respect Woodley not making excuses and just accepting he lost, but he really needs a rematch. Man, I don't know.
I don't think he deserves a
man.
Not a rematch straight away, but I think he definitely deserves one down the road. Round one, you could tell he wasn't correct, and I'm a big fan of Woodley, and I've always said he's got a very underrated mind for fighting, against anybody. He seems to come out on top. I thought that'd be the same last night. And with my tweets last night, I actually stayed up to watch the whole event. And I kind of tweeted straight away afterwards, said, Usman didn't win it, Woodley lost it, which kind of takes it away from Usman a little bit. And I regret tweeting that because Usman did what he had to do. But Woodley just wasn't. It wasn't him. He wasn't in the right mind to do it. I don't know what was wrong, but something wasn't clicking last night for him.
I just think there's something definitely more to it. I think there's something going on in his personal life. You think about other fighters that were great champions that looked like he looked last night. There's always something, as years go on, you find out something that was going on that contributed to their mental state going into the ring. But I mean, at the same time, man, I don't want to take any credit away from Usman, man. I mean, the guy's record speaks for itself. And you look at Tyron Woodley with the losses on his record, this happens to him from time to time. I remember Nate Marquardt really beating him up back in the Strikeforce days, and he's had some bad fights.
I think you hit the nail on the head there. I think there was something going on outside the cage. The fact that he had to spend the entire week strapped to Ben Askren for all the media things, that grates on me from a distance. So you could just see it slow. Like when Askren's doing that, he's there. You can just see Tyron Woodley. It's like sort of the brother that you invite to a party, and you have to keep stood next to him and admit that he's yours. But you really don't want him to come and ask. I'm just sure Askren mentally broken before he got in the fucking cage, boys. Dear God, I can't even look at a picture of Askren without hitting myself in the face. So
worn out.
Woodley is. Worn out. So, but I think Usman did a great job. It might not be pretty, it might not be as spectacular as like the Garbrandt Munoz fight, but I think he did the job. And to be honest, that is the first time. Even when Woodley wins, he finds something to whinge about. So the fact that he lost and didn't, this is a formula that I'm enjoying tremendously. So all good.
But like Kev said, I don't want to take anything away from Usman, but it was just the fact I don't have a problem with guys who want to wrestle to win. That's fine. That's cool. It's mixed martial arts. But it was just the fact that apart from the end of round 4 when they went for a bit of a slug, Usman didn't look very concerned about finishing the fight really at all in the entirety. He just sort of seemed happy just to grind it out, and that's when I start to get a bit groany because it's not fun to watch at all. When you can see that the guy isn't really interested in trying to end the fight, I think people have a right to go, we know how this is going.
I think what entertained me about the fight was just the shockingness of, because I mean, Woodley's known as a good wrestler, man. I mean, he's good all around, and he didn't do the things that he's been doing well. He didn't utilize his jab at all. I mean, it was really like the commentators were saying. I mean, he was planning on looking for one shot. Is the only thing that I could see that he was actively trying to do.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Wasn't throwing punches, and then he just got handled in the wrestling game, dude. Every time they got a hold of each other, he had no shot, and it was just shocking to me. The whole time I kept thinking, okay, he's got to have something left. He's got to pull something out. He's going to try something. Yeah. Maybe he'll get this guillotine. Maybe this right hand will connect. And it's like it was never anything. There was never anything.
Because he has all that in his arsenal, that one shot. You've seen, like, who comes to mind? Robbie Lawler, Josh Koscheck. Like, we know he's got power. He backs up against the cage and then explodes. And even, like, into the 3rd and 4th rounds, I know you're saying, Matthew, like, it's boring, but, like, sometimes you got a game plan, you just stick to it if it's winning, man. You don't want to take any chances. He knew he was going to get the decision win probably by the time the 4th round came around. But, yeah, something was up with Tyron Woodley, man. It was shades of, like, Oliver McCall. Remember him crying in the boxing ring and all that? It was just, like, something was going on in his head that we don't know anything about, because that wasn't like Tyron Woodley at all in that fight.
And Woodley in his last fight. Sorry.
He just had this blank stare, and he wasn't doing anything that his corner asked him to do. None of it. It was the same shit over and over.
Yeah, and Woodley just won his black belt in jiu-jitsu in his last win against Darren Till, and he just didn't use anything, didn't go for anything on the ground.
Yeah, it was bad, man. Let's move on, because we've got loads of questions coming in. At Juice MMA, Kev, this one's for you. Does Kevin still believe Jones is the greatest of all time, even though he couldn't finish Anthony Smith, something that even Thiago Santos did?
And he just beat the dog out of Anthony Smith, man. I mean, come on. Of course, it's not just me. Everybody thinks he's the greatest of all time, man. They're saying it across the board. You know what I mean? This dude continues to get better. I mean, what are you kidding me? He looked great last night in performance, man. You sometimes it's not there. You know, the finish is not there. I think the things that he showed us in this fight last night were things that he hasn't shown us before. I mean, the guy is constantly evolving his game. And I mean, he beat the dog out of this man all night. He ain't the greatest because he didn't knock him out. I mean, hell, dude, he imposed his will on him for 25 minutes.
Fans are so greedy, mate. Fans are so greedy. They've got this athlete in front of them, and all they want is him to be more of a finisher, or they want to see something spectacular in every fight. It's not going to happen in every fight. He's fighting the best of the best, and he's doing what he's doing to them, but if you just look at the people he's gone through, what he's done to them and how he's done it, the different styles he uses, how he adapts within the cage, how he digs deep in like the first Gustafsson fight and shows us the fighter in him, and then how he, the spectacular things like the spinning elbows, the choking out of Machida, the fans are just greedy. There is no doubt that he is well within that argument of greatest of all time, if not running away with it by an absolute country mile. And the fact that he's done back-to-back fights and he's more active, and we were all wondering what he'd be like when he came back after that long layoff. Have we missed the prime of John Jones? What's next? Dude, he looks scary as hell. And I think, there's always going to be those sort of people that are going to ask those questions. But if you cannot see the argument for why he is the greatest of all time, you have no idea what you're doing.
In the cage, in my head, he's only number 2 to GSP, if anybody. That's just in cage alone. I think people have a problem with his greatest of all time label just because of his out of cage antics and the drug test fails. But if you just look at it from purely in cage, he's definitely 1 or 2 in my head.
My argument for him being the greatest, I mean, over Pierre would be that he's while he has a loss and a no contest on his record, he's truly never been defeated. You know what I mean? Never. And that's something that George St. Pierre could not say at this point in his career when he was this age, or when he was in his title run where John Jones is. He couldn't say those things. And last thought on that question too, man, for me is that it's very hard to get a stoppage win when somebody will not engage with you. And Anthony Smith he was not engaging. He didn't like what was coming back, and he wasn't throwing anything. That's going to make it hard to stop him, man.
He wasn't even engaging in disputing the illegal knee either. Like, he was totally not engaged. He was as engaged as Tyron Woodley at times in that fight. No, Kev, just to let you know, Kev, Victor's got a follow-up on this question for you, mate. He goes on to say, fuck John Jones, fuck his bracelet-having, turtleneck-wearing ass.
Yeah, the bracelet thing's kind of weird. I'll give you that.
Let's move on, man. Go ahead, Brian.
John Jones, and I didn't catch his post-fight interview on this one. I was talking through it a little bit, but when he does the post-fight interview, my favourite thing is he obviously I'm not a big fan of the all glory to God and all that sort of stuff, but he thanks his coaches, his wife, his family, and his swim coach. Now, what other fighter has such an integral swim coach in their corner, mate? I just love that. That's my favourite bit of a John Jones interview.
That's his drug dealer as well. But anyway, that's At Else for Elf, is Kamaru Usman now racist after a win over Woodley? No, he's been quite nice, Woodley, hasn't he? He's not spat the dummy, I don't think. I hadn't seen. Brian, you watched the post fight?
There was no whinging or anything like that, which you usually get.
No, good.
And that's even in the interviews afterwards. But I think. I just think, Woodley will find something down the line. He'll be talking about, or we'll find something out, like we said. Maybe there was something else going on, before that fight.
Absolutely, man. Let's move on.
It's funny somebody brings up the race thing, because I did think to myself, should have took that fight with Colby Covington. Maybe he was trying to keep him out of the house.
What was he like, man, standing cage side? That's brilliant. Now, let's move on to Facebook. I want to get through as many as I can last 15 minutes or so. So, Ashley Walters on Facebook. Who next for Johnny Jones? I'm thinking Momo Challenge. Don't know, man. Doubt it. I'm hearing, what's his name? Thiago Santos, they're saying?
Has to be Thiago Santos now. It's the only...
Line them up.
Yeah.
I feel like how he said in his post-fight interview, he's not calling anybody out. He's the champ. Line him up. He's going to knock him down. He's going to stay active. I mean, just line him up. He'll clean out the division 2-3 times if he wants to.
I honestly don't see, apart from Thiago Santos just getting a really good, really clean shot, I just don't see anybody else in the division who I look at and go, well, yeah, he looks like he's got the potential to beat John Jones. There just doesn't seem. Well, I think DC. I think we can pretty much rule out. I don't think he's going to go back down to light heavyweight again. But apart from that, there's nobody in the division that looks like he could be anywhere near John Jones.
I think one of the best things that happened in that event, and it's not a good thing that happened, but Johnny Walker's celebration after his 36-second amazing victory, busting his shoulder actually probably did him a little favour there, because what the UFC are terrible at, and we saw it with the flyweight divisions, is they shoot people into those title shots too early in their career, and to the detriment of the fighter and what they do. So I think the fact that Johnny Walker is being steamrolling everybody, and he's flamboyant, he's marketable, he's got style in and out of the cage. I think the fact that he's now going to have to be on the sidelines for a little while probably means Thiago Santos will get the shot he deserves, because the division's not looking too thick at the minute, and then see what happens with Johnny Walker as it goes on. But they're going to be investing a lot in him, I'm sure, and that's a fight that'll happen down the line, but I just hope it doesn't happen too quickly.
I think on the post-fight press conference, somebody asked Dana about Johnny Walker, and Dana said himself, "No, we're not gonna shoot him to the stars too early. We're gonna build him up slowly."
Way too soon.
Yeah, it's quite soon for him.
Yeah, we always believe what Dana says as well.
Yeah, talk about pinch of salt.
Yeah,
that never lies.
He will never fight in the UFC. Ben Askren will never be part of the UFC, and all the other things.
Like he got the crystal ball.
Yeah, exactly, mate. Let's see. We've got Rance White on Facebook. John Jones is a bamf. I heard John Jones once ate an entire birthday cake before his friends could tell him there was a stripper in it. Wow. Thanks, mate. Let's move on, shall we? Martin Thompson. What next for my man John? What next for my man Johnny Walker? Give that guy a top fight. Yeah, man. Here. Johnny Walker. If he can lay off the
shoulder
excited
surgery,
celebration.
Yeah. That's probably next for Johnny Walker, unfortunately.
Trip to A&E, I think.
He's ready for top 10 for sure.
Yeah, I'd give him a top fight whenever he's ready. I think it'd be good to put him in maybe a co-main event or something. I think next for that guy. Why not? Fuck it.
And something on regular TV, man. Let's get this guy some more exposure.
Yeah, and he looks like he laps it up. He seems like quite a charismatic guy, so fuck it, let's do it. Chris Allen is asking on Facebook, why is Corey Anderson not being considered for a title fight with Jones? Anyone for Corey Anderson?
That's it. Well, I mean, I can't even remember the last time he fought.
Same.
I don't know. Maybe he's under my radar, man.
Yep,
I think that's the exact answer. The fact we all kind of pause and have a little think. That's exactly why, mate. Exactly why.
Yeah.
Corey Anderson was at UFC 232. He beat Latifi.
Corey Anderson was the owner of the worst fighter nickname of all time, wasn't he? Beastin 24/8. That was him, yeah.
Beastin 24/8.
And then he's now changed it into Overtime or something like that, which is slightly better, but yeah, still, he's But he got sparked out by Jimmy Manoa. That's right.
Oh yeah, that's right. Yeah.
And OSP.
And OSP. Yeah, so we've come up with a number of reasons why Anderson can never fight.
I think we got it. Right, okay, let's move on. Miles Painter is asking, of Martin, Morono or Smoker, who has the most to gain at UFC on ESPN +4? Fucking hell, that's a mouthful.
Who's the first guy smoking? Who?
Martin, is it Morono? Morono. Shows you my channel. Moreno. Right, there you go. I just read them, man. I don't know.
I don't know, man. I'm interested in the Luis Smolka fight because he's fighting Matt Schnell, and there's a lot of bad blood towards that guy down here because a fighter from just around the way caught it hit him with an illegal knee when he was beating him in a championship fight in a regional promotion down here. So that's the one that's on my radar. I don't know if he has much to gain professionally by beating that guy. So I'll say not Smolka.
Not Smolka gets my vote as well. Just after that.
There you go. Make it a 3. I'm in. Let's do it. Let's see. We'll take one more from Facebook then before we wrap up. Is it true Tony Ferguson turned down the interim lightweight title fight? Also, Tony Ferguson is the type of guy who doesn't wear shades outside because he doesn't want to let the sun win. I heard that one. That's good.
Well, I think Tony Ferguson just wants Khabib, doesn't he? And Khabib wanted GSP, so it was like a domino effect of guys just wanting. They didn't want to fight each other; they just wanted their own fights, and then it was given to Max Holloway. I'm buzzing for the fight. I'm buzzing. That fight should be awesome. But Tony Ferguson, I just wish he was more regular again.
Oh, it's 100%. He's so exciting. That Khabib fight. I'm pointing to the number of times it's been gone.
I'm pointing to the curse, man. It's the curse fight, and I don't think I think the UFC and Dana White, they want to make sure the next fight they promote with Khabib is one that is actually going to happen with the money they put behind it. Those actual fighters will get it in the cage. And, I think about that article I read after the Conor McGregor fight where it's talking about Khabib walking through the McCarran Airport in Las Vegas and nobody's recognizing him. He's decked out in UFC gear. And at the same time, Conor McGregor would have been robbing him there. So yeah, totally. I think a lot of this has to do with, hey, we need to fucking get people on board with this guy because he looks like he will hold the title for a while. And another thing is too, Khabib's just fucking. I mean, he's a different type of cat, man. I don't think anybody on this panel can wrap our minds around how this dude's mind works and his mentality has to do with everything in life. So who knows, man? Who knows what's going on that side of the fence?
Yeah, I think the Tony Ferguson was disappointed to get off with Max Holloway. He tweeted out something. He said, "We've been offered the fight, but I think we deserve better." So I think that's what dominoed into Poirier, who was looking like he was going to fight Al Iaquinta. Poirier now fighting Holloway. But, he says Tony Ferguson, I love him, mate. I absolutely, he's one of my favourite fighters. And exactly like it's been just been said, I wish we saw more of him. I think he's unique. I think he's special. I think he's so skilled. Even the way he rehabbed his knee, he didn't do it the usual way. He did it all by himself and using stuff that he'd made by himself. And you watch him train, and even the way he hits pads or the speed back is different to anyone else. But to say that he wears shades so he doesn't lose to the sun, he is 0-1 to a lighting cable right now, though, as well, isn't he? That's what happened. That's what happened. So he's not undefeatable. Maybe the shades could have done him a favour and let him know what was up there. But I'm excited for the Poirier fight, and I wish we saw more of Ferguson. But I've got no idea who they're going to give him now. If he's going to sit out till Khabib comes back in whenever it is, October, November, whenever, that's too long for him to be on the shelf. So we'll wait and see.
I think the lightweight division on a whole is a bit of a weird one because I think you've now got a period where you've got so much talent in like the top 10 that you could almost have an argument for like all of them deserving a title shot. And Khabib is the kind of guy now who is transitioning into that guy who just wants money fights. Yeah. It's such a stacked division, and you'd say it's probably the best division in like the whole world of MMA. But then it's kind of not because they don't want to fight each other. They all want title shots and they all want money fights. It's becoming a bit of a weird division on a whole. It's
the McGregor rub, isn't it? The fact that he's been in there and people all want that red panty night and all that. But what is also confusing, I don't know if anyone can inform me on this, has Max Holloway vacated the 145 division, or is that now in the same position as the other one?
No vacation.
No vacation. That's what I've not seen. So is he going to bounce between the two? Again,
no, they're going to make another interim title. That's what they'll do, man. That's their specialty. Yeah. You know what I mean?
Of course, mate.
It'd be great if we could have like a little tournament while Khabib's serving out the suspension that he is that he's going to definitely take the entire 9 months for. I know that's way too wishful thinking, but how great would that be if we had a little tournament to decide who's going to get to fight him whenever he comes back.
A little Bellator style running. Yeah, I like it. I do like that actually. And like you said, that top 10 is it's so good. The lightweight division is so deep, and there's so much talent, and there's so many marketable fighters as well in that division that having a little tournament that brings it down to who will fight Habib when he does finally return would be awesome.
Yeah, man. What's the one that's coming up in lightweight? Barbosa and Gaethje. That'll be fireworks, man.
God. But Gaethje's one of those. Gaethje's one of those guys now. I don't know if he'll ever get a title fight like that because he's not really interested. I think he's just interested in getting.
Who cares?
He wants 50k here and there. It's a bit of a weird mentality. But
well, that's what brain damage does to you. You make irrational decisions. But what a fight that is! What a fight that is!
Yeah, man. One's just came in from Twitter, so we've got time. Let's squeeze it in before we wrap up. Then at Mr. Reezy, Anthony Smith is acting like he wasn't embarrassed, but I've never seen someone sit there in a defeated position getting beat down like that. Almost looked like some childhood memories came out, and he reverted back to that. Well, it says more about you, mate. But...
Well, I'll tell you what. One thing, man, that I'm not sure if one thing that we didn't fill the question on, man. So I just want to get my thoughts in there before on Anthony Smith. If he says when that illegal knee, if he says he can't continue, the dude just got an extra payday. And I mean, you've got to be an idiot. I understand, maybe I don't understand. Maybe I'm a little too business minded, but there's no logic in when you're getting beat on that bad, not to. And it wouldn't be that you were looking for a way out. It'd be like you were signing up for more of it. It'd actually be a more manly thing to do. To say, no, I want to get beat on for, after 20 minutes of getting beat on, I want to get beat on for 25 more minutes 3 months from now.
I suppose you're right.
Yeah, that was weird. It was another underachieving performance, really, because it was he was sat there against the cage on multiple occasions, with his arms wrapped around his knees, just sort of sitting there, like almost in like a fetal position, just taking it. It was Jones is
weird strategy, isn't it?
Yeah, Jones is awesome, but all the video packages, Anthony Smith was hyping himself up to the absolute max, like anybody would, and then to put that performance in and not have an injury or anything, it's just another weird fight, really.
It was weird,
and his corner's giving him zero advice. I mean, they kept telling him,
"You've been here before. You've been here before." That's all they kept saying.
Yeah. And bite down on your mouthpiece. I mean, I swear, when they were walking to the cage, I heard his entourage telling him, "It's time to bite down." It's like, dude. I mean, maybe tell him a little bit of fucking strategy. Maybe I don't know. I don't know what to tell someone that's fighting John Jones to get beat up. Like that's not my job.
Yeah. No, I know. You're
bite
right.
down.
Yeah,
come on,
down. Yeah.
But the angle that was
time
weird,
to bite down.
When he was hyping up the fight, when he was talking about it, the thing that got me intrigued about this, and he sort of mentioned it on one of the embedded series, is he didn't seem stressed about fighting John Jones. And there seemed to be, like he was saying, I'm sleeping okay. It's not a fight that I'm laying in bed thinking about again and again, or that angle of somebody that wasn't beaten before they stepped in the cage was sort of the angle he was going down. Yeah, he was just a rabbit in the head when he went in there, and credit to him sportsman wise to continue and take that knee and still carry on. But like you said, man, he could have made quite a bit more money, a shed load more money, life changing more money if he'd just not continued. So that's the choice.
Going into this
moral
fight,
choice.
Yeah, man. I mean, and like as far as what his chances were before the fight, and he had to have known this too. I mean, you look at these guys. He has a huge reach advantage on you, which he has on everybody. They're around the same age, and you look at their records. I mean, 13 people have beat this dude before. I mean, who in their right mind thought Anthony Smith had a shot at beating John Jones, man? I mean, I said it before the fight. I said, dude, in 5 years, nobody even remember this dude's name, man. I think he had his little run, and I'm not sure that there's people that can do John Jones type things that like to say that he got exposed and you can use this fight as a game plan to how to beat him in the future. But there has to be something there that these top guys can utilize from what John Jones did to him, and at least do half of him. He's gonna have a tough time, man. That was my prediction going into the fight, was he was going to lose this one and have a tough time after it. And we'll see. It's time to shuffle the deck again in the light heavyweight division, I guess.
Anthony Smith actually, in one of the media days in the past week, actually had a go at a reporter because the reporter was saying, your odds aren't great of winning, and he was like, really? That's mad. I should have almost equal odds to win. It's like, come on. Come on, mate.
But so long as he bites down on that mouthpiece, he would have been fine. I think that's what was going on in his head. We need to bite. Sorry for the professional segue, guys, but we need to bite down on this episode because we're almost out of time. We've almost reached the 45 minutes, but we'll need to wrap things up there. What a night of fights, though. Thank you so much for everybody who got in touch with those amazing questions. But let me at this time extend my thanks to the panel, starting with Mr. Matthew Penny. Matthew, thank you so much for helping a brother out. Let everyone know where to check you out online and how to follow your work, sir.
No worries. It's been a pleasure to come on and chat with you, gents. So you can catch me on Twitter at PurelyMMA, and we have a website, purelymma.co.uk. And we're also now on YouTube, and we're starting to creep in and do a few of our own shows. So that's Purely MMA Podcast on YouTube. If you type it in the search bar, we should be the top result. So thanks for having me on, John, and I'm looking forward to the next one.
Pleasure, man. To Kevin Jones. Kev, let our people know all about the main event, and thank you again for giving us your time, brother.
Yes, sir. I always appreciate it, man. Always a pleasure, and always have fun. You can listen to the main event. It is live on Double T 97.3. That's Lubbock Sports Station, our ESPN affiliate down here. It's also on Double T 97.3.com. Download that Double T 97.3 mobile app and listen to the podcast whenever you like. Weekly shows are uploaded on Sundays around 9:30.
Finally, to Brian Lacey. Brian, always a pleasure. Let Martial Art Chat listeners know where to check you out online and how to follow all the great work you do, my friend.
No, that's awesome, mate. I didn't realise it was 45 minutes. I thought it was an hour, so I've got now 15 minutes to get back to grooming and doing my eyebrows and picking what neck tattoo I'm going to go for this week. Mate. So, no, but awesome. No, thank you very much for having me. Nice to chat to you guys as well. You can follow me at Brian Lacey, Brian with a Y, Lacey MMA on Twitter, Instagram, all the other bits. And in the next couple of weeks, me and Brad Pickett should have a little bit of news coming as well, so there may be some exciting stuff happening down the podcast YouTube route with me and Brad, so stay tuned to that. But thanks again, gents.
Awesome stuff. If you've liked this episode, be sure to subscribe. You can do that. Search it for us on iTunes, search for Martial Arts Chat, or download the Spreaker app, or go to Spreaker.com/Martial Arts Chat. I'm John Boy McElroy, and I'll catch you next time on the Martial Arts Chat podcast.